Jose Justicia is a Spanish darts player who began to play competitively in the soft tip game, where he reached a final of the European Championship in 2010 before winning it in 2012. By that time, he'd already played in steel tip PDC events when he played in 4 Players' Championships in 2009, winning a game in each of the first 2 events before only winning 1 leg in the next 2. At the end of that year, he attended the Spanish qualifier for the PDC World Championships, in which he got a whitewash win in the last 16 before losing 6-4 to Francisco Ruiz, who went on to secure the place at Ali Pali. Justicia then took a year's break from PDC action before returning in 2010 and 2012, where across 10 events he won 4 games, only getting into the money twice. At the end of that year, he attended the Western European World Championship qualifier, where he won 6-2 in the last 16 before losing 6-2 in the quarters. It was then just over 5 years before we saw Jose in the PDC again, but when he returned, he made a big impact at Q School, winning a game on the first day and 2 on the second, before reaching the final on day 3 and last 16 on day 4. This helped him to secure a 2-year tour card before the end of day 4, meaning that he embarked on a full Pro Tour season. In his very first event on the tour, something crazy happened. The players took to the Robin Park Tennis Centre in Wigan for the first of 6 UK Open qualifiers, where Jose would make national news headlines, something very rare for darts. He began the day by coming from 4-2 down to beat Titus Karnik 6-5, taking out 108 in the deciding leg to wrap up the game. He then averaged 97.7 in a 6-4 win over Luke Woodhouse, who himself averaged 96. In the next round, he came back from 5-3 down to beat Krzysztof Ratajski, who won his first PDC event a few days later in a decider. Jose followed this up with another impressive win, this time 6-4 over Johnny Clayton. That put him through to the last 16, where he averaged 97 in a 6-1 win over Dave Prince, reaching his first PDC ranking quarter-final, where he was drawn against Adrian Lewis. Adrian won 3 of the first 4 legs to go 3-1 up, before an incident began to kick off in leg 5. Jose seemed to accuse Adrian of stepping up behind him or making noise when he was throwing at double 4. Lewis was then distracted by something Jose did when walking back from the board. When Jose next threw for a double, he stepped back and accused Lewis of distracting him. Jose won that leg, as well as the next 2. Then, in the 8th leg, after Jose hit a 177, there was more drama, with the players exchanging words. The Spaniard then began laughing and smirking, which further annoyed Lewis. After Jose missed 3 darts at a double, Lewis went over to confront him by the board, physically touching him and getting in his face. Adrian won that leg, and then pointed his finger and shouted at Jose, with some bad language being heard on the stream. The players then settled down over the following few legs, during which Adrian wrapped up a 6-5 win. The players then pointed at each other and the oche and continued to call each other out. Adrian then grabbed Jose by the neck before the players were separated by security, who carried Lewis out. Shortly after the game, the DRA released a statement stating that Lewis, who was angry after feeling Jose was using gamesmanship, was suspended immediately, pending an investigation. Lewis was later given a 3-month suspended ban and a £3,000 fine. He stated that he felt Jose was trying to provoke him, but that he shouldn't have confronted him. Jose released a tweet saying that he didn't need any apologies, as his country and family kept him dreaming. Later on in that year, he made his Euro Tour debut, beating Luke Woodhouse 6-4 in the first round of the German Darts Open before being whitewashed by Dave Chisnell. Towards the end of the year, he pulled out of many events, but in his final Players' Championship appearance of the year, he had a rematch with Lewis, which he lost 6-4, and both players shook hands after. He failed to qualify for Ali Pali through the Pro Tour, and was eliminated in the quarter-final of the South and West European qualifier. 2019 saw him reach his first Players' Championship quarter-final, but he again failed to make it to Ali Pali through the Pro Tour, meaning that he had to go back to the qualifier, which he managed to win to secure his Ali Pali debut. On his World Championship debut, he beat Aaron Monk 3-0 before losing in a deciding set to Stephen Bunting. Despite the Ali Pali win, he ended that year ranked 82nd on the Order of Merit, meaning that he lost his tour card. He then spent 2 years off the tour after he was unsuccessful at Q School twice, but in 2021 he managed to win his first PDC title on the European Challenge Tour. At the start of 2022, he won the first day of EU Q School finals, meaning that he got a tour card back. He reached his second Players' Championship appearance in April before a very controversial moment happened in October. He entered the WDF Spanish Open, which he technically wasn't allowed to do due to PDC tour card holder rules. However, he pulled out before the event began. That wasn't the controversy. During the event, a Twitter user stated that Jose had violently hit a woman and hadn't apologised. The same user said that Jose had made contact with a woman who was around 50 years old when coming through a door, leading the Spaniard to say, "Don't touch me," before punching her in the stomach and headbutting her. More details later emerged when Vicky Pruitt, a player who featured in the event, spoke to the media. She said that Jose freaked out when told he couldn't play in the event due to the PDC rules. He then was annoyed with Fiona Roberts, an Irish player, when she came through the door at the same time as him, leading to the physical attack, which Jose's entourage disputed. On Facebook, Roberts stated that she was just one in a line of women he abused over the weekend, with reports also stating he pushed and hit Belgian player Patricia de Putter. It was reported that Fiona had gone to the police. Jose was investigated by the DRA on allegations of aggressive and inappropriate behaviour, and he had a 3-day hearing. He was eventually given a seemingly lenient £250 fine and formal warning, but it's hard to know just how serious the incident was without further evidence. He was allowed to continue playing in the event, and at the end of the year, he managed to win the Southwest Europe World Championship qualifier, securing a return to Ali Pali, where he was beaten 3-1 by Josh Rock. He had a bad season in 2023 and failed to make it to the last 16 of any Players' Championship event, whilst averaging below 90 over the whole year. He also lost in his first game at the PDPA World Championship qualifier, meaning that he will finish this year outside the top 64 and lose his tour card again. If he's unsuccessful at Q-School in the new year, we still may see him in a televised PDC event as he's represented Spain in the last 3 World Cups. In 2021, which was his first appearance in the event, he was partnered by Jesus Nogueira, and the pair lost in a deciding leg to South Africa in the first round. In 2022, he was partnered by Tony Martinez, and they faced Germany, the host, in round 1. However, they again lost in the deciding leg, having been sat on a double to win. The pair remained the same for 2023, where in their first group game, they were beaten by South Africa, before they beat Iceland in the next game, in which Jose hit the double to get his first World Cup win. This wasn't enough, and they were knocked out in the group stage.